Okay, I have to admit it, I'm a little bit late to the party with a video about my top tech purchases of 2024, but better late than never, right? Let's start with a pair of true wireless earphones, the Moondrop Space Travel. So I've been using Apple's AirPods Pro pretty much since they came out, but one pair, this one broke, and another one I lost, clumsy as I am. Looking for a cheap alternative, I found these to be a perfect example of the 80-20 rule, or in this case more of a 90-10 rule. The Moondrop Space Travel cost about 10% of the AirPods Pro, while doing everything about 80 to 90% as good. And while I sadly don't have any musical talent, I do enjoy listening to music, and I do so quite frequently. At my desk, I usually use the Sennheiser HD560S, which are open back headphones and are really excellent. And when I'm on the go, I used to use the AirPods, now replaced by the Moondrops. And in terms of pure audio quality, they are really on par with the AirPods, which is incredible given the price difference. I love their industrial design aesthetic that doesn't try to copy Apple's style. And with the original leather case, they feel far more premium than the price suggests. There are some trade-offs, of course. The battery life isn't as good, though 4 to 5 hours of listening to music is still plenty for me. The noise cancellation, while good, isn't as refined as higher-end models. The transparency mode in particular falls short compared to Apple's. And obviously when comparing directly to the AirPods, they lack some features that are exclusive to the Apple ecosystem, like AirPlay for example. But for my use case, walking while listening podcasts or enjoying music on a plane or on a train, they're perfectly adequate. And I'm thrilled with the money I saved, and it amazes me how good they actually sound for the price. And if you have similar needs to mine, I wholeheartedly recommend them. Only when you're doing lots of phone calls or using them for many hours daily, then I would suggest to look at something a little bit more expensive. Alright, next we have the Withings Connect, a smart blood pressure monitor. I have several health conditions that require the need to monitor my blood pressure on a fairly regular basis. So in order to see trends and notice changes in the past when using a more traditional monitor, I used to write down every measurement in an Excel sheet. And while that works, especially when you do the standard morning measurement and therefore create some sort of routine around it, it does become a little bit cumbersome when you need to measure your blood pressure at various points throughout the day and in different situations. And that's the key with the Withings device. It connects with Apple Health and automatically adds the data of each measurement without you doing anything. So I can just grab it whenever and don't have to think about writing anything down. Now, make no mistake, the Withings Connect is expensive. About 2 or 3 times the price of a normal blood pressure monitoring device. But it's not only the smart feature, it also offers a very compact size in comparison to more traditional devices, which is extremely valuable when traveling a lot. And all that while still being an upper arm device, which offers more accurate readings. Speaking about accuracy, I tested it against 2 traditional models that are recommended by doctors here in Austria, and the accuracy really was impeccable. One downside, especially given the premium price tag, is that archaic micro USB charging port, which I think is the only device I still have with one of those. But I guess it's not worth upgrading the device for just a more modern port, right? And in the end, it's not that big of a deal, because I have been using it for a bit under a year now, and sometimes every day. And so far I've only had to charge it once or twice, so it's not that you have to carry a micro USB cable wherever you go. Okay, next on my list is a bit of an odd one, and depending on where you are from and what cuisine you prefer, it might be pretty standard to have a rice cooker. For me though, it was something new, but I wish I had tried it out sooner. It is just so convenient to not having to worry about manually cooking your rice, and at the same time knowing that the result will be perfect every time with minimal effort. At our home we are seldomly cooking for more than 2 people, so I went with this small one from a company called Arendo. And it really is the perfect size and not too obtrusive in our relatively small kitchen here. Plus, it is hyper simplistic, which I like. So no fancy settings and different cooking modes and whatnot, just plain and simple. Put rice in, add water and start. After it finishes, it automatically keeps the rice warm until you need it, which obviously adds another layer of convenience, right? For those of you who grew up with rice cookers, I may sound like Captain Obvious here, but for us the excitement was real. Okay, the last thing I want to discuss isn't a specific device, but a subscription to Claude AI. This video isn't sponsored by Anthropic or anyone else, and you could substitute Claude with Chat GPT or another LLM, but I've tested them all and preferred Claude for my use cases. And I've been using it extensively, definitely daily, for both work and personal tasks. And while we're still in the early stages of AI assistants, used properly, it's already a powerful tool. And while most of the stuff I've been using Claude for is standard LLM tasks like generating YouTube ideas, blog ideas, and proofreading, streamlining and polishing articles and scripts and whatnot, doing the occasional custom code for a Shopify page, I've also tried a few more interesting things. For example, deciphering handwriting. My girlfriend got a note from her dietologist that was hardly readable, and so I asked Claude, which at first couldn't help either, but after we provided 1 or 2 words that we actually could read, the AI got the hang of that specific handwriting and continued to decipher everything promptly and correctly. I also found Claude's project feature quite useful, where you can add a lot of context in the form of uploadable text documents, images, datasheets, and so on. And so, for example, I created a project for YouTube video ideas and I added the studio data so Claude sees what works and what didn't work in the past, and I also added a list of topics I like and have some knowledge. Then I can just write a prompt like, give me 3 different ideas for a potential video, and the results are much more usable because of the added context. I also use it for meal planning and recipes, adding lists of foods I like, allergens and nutrition goals, and specific carb, protein or fiber requirements. And once you've set up all this background information, you can simply ask what to make with specific ingredients you happen to have in your fridge. And the same basic idea also works, for example, for people who don't know what they should wear on a daily basis. So you can basically make an inventory of all your clothing items with photographs, for example, and upload them to your project. And then you can just ask, hey, I don't know, for example, I attend a smart casual cocktail party this evening and it's gonna be cold and rainy on the way there. What should I wear? Of course, those are just ideas and examples, and the possible applications are really endless at this point. Another thing I quite enjoy using AI for is critical questions. So I often write something like, hey, I have this crazy idea, please challenge me on that and ask me critical questions. That's a great early stress test for a new idea, in my opinion. You could also use that for finding a new career path, for example. Just ask the AI to continuously pose questions about your interests and your skills and continuously narrow it down more and more. Think of it like a psychological test that is perfectly tailored to a specific topic. In the end, I think that regardless of what you think about AI and LLMs in general, despite their obvious limitations that still exist, they are indeed very helpful in really every field. And most importantly, the better you get at writing prompts, the more information you provide, the more help and the better answers you receive. Alright, that's it for today. I hope you liked it. Also, please let me know in the comments below if you want to see more content about AI specifically. Also, I will try to post a little bit more regularly again. Cheers guys, see you in the next one.